Okay, let's recall how to evaluate an integral. So the following diagram shows how to evaluate a given integral at this point. No? So halimbawa, ito yung ina-evaluate natin. So we have two techniques of integration. So we can either use U technique or we rewrite the given integral. So if we apply U technique, then the resulting is either a formula, kung hindi man. So if it is a formula, then we're done. No? Otherwise, we rewrite the resulting integral. Now, kung mag-fail ito, we can rewrite the integral. If it results to a formula, then we're done. Or we rewrite the integral into a different form and then we apply U technique. So baka yung value ng U manggaling dun sa rewrite. No? So, kumbaga, these are the only techniques of integration. So, paglaruan natin yung dalawang techniques na ito when we evaluate a given integral. No? So, it can be solved either one of the techniques or combination of the two techniques. Also, we recall how to apply U technique. So, given this integral, wherein the variable of integration is x. So what we're going to do is we assign a value for u. We find the differential of u. So ibig sabihin, we find the differential of both sides dun sa equation involving u. And then we solve for dx. So kumbaga, we eliminate x and dx in the given. So this would be the resulting integral. So we want to transform this integral into an integral in terms of u and du only. So dito, we apply techniques of integration. So pagdating dito, apply techniques. Techniques of integration. So we apply techniques of integration. Also, remember yung mga suggestions ko noon. So when we have a power of a function or entry to a function on the integrand, then we apply U technique. So we let U be the function. So it is necessary, but not a guarantee that the resulting integral in terms of U du is the power rule. Dito naman, when we have an exponential function wherein the exponent is again an expression or another function, then we let U be f of x. No? So again, this is necessary, but not sufficient. The resulting integral is a to the u du. So we now discuss integrals involving trigonometric functions. So recall that so integrals involving trigonometric functions. So integral of trigo functions. So recall that these 6 formulas, we've discussed this antiderivatives. So this can be derived from the derivative of the 6 trigo functions. No? So the derivative of cosine is negative sine. Derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of tangent is secant square. Derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant square. Derivative of secant is secant tan. Derivative of cosecant is negative cosecant cotangent. So these are the additional formulas. So these are the integral of the remaining 4 trigo functions. So meron na tayong integral ng sine tsaka cosine. So dito we have integral of tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. So lahat ng mga formulas na ito, they involve ln. No? They involve ln. And then we have two choices for the integral of tangent. So either ln secant or negative ln cosine. So the two are the same, no? Because If you apply the property of logarithmic function, -1 becomes the exponent of cosine. 1 over cosine is secant. Okay? So when we have an integral involving trig of functions, baka magamit natin yung mga formulas na ito. Na? Besides yung power rule at saka yung um, integral involving exponential function. Okay? So mas dumadami yung possibilities when we have other functions no on the integral. Hindi kagaya sa algebraic, the only possible formula at this point ay x to the n or u to the n. Pag mayroong exponential, baka u to the n or a to the u, no? Pag mayroong trigo, so pwedeng u to the n, a to the u, or any one of these formulas. Okay? So you include this to your list of integration formulas. No? So let us now evaluate some integrals. No? So for this one, no? Ang mapapansin natin kaagad dito is we have a power of a function, no? F at x raised to n. So sabi ko, pag mayroong f at x raised to n, we let u be the base, no? We apply u technique. So baka naman maging u to the 9 du lamang ito times some constant. So tingnan natin. So we let u be 2 plus sine x. Ang du natin, this is equal to cosine of x dx. Okay? Now we can solve for dx and then you substitute u and dx on the given. No? Pero dito, mapapansin natin that the remaining part, so cosine of x times dx, can be replaced entirely by du. No? So yung cosine x times dx, du lamang siya. So we replace this by du. So this one is equivalent to, plug in natin si u, we have u to the 9, and then the remaining part, it would be du. So the answer, it would be u to the 10 over 10 plus c. So the final answer, it would be, ano yung u natin? 2 plus sine x, and then raised to 10 over 10, and then plus c. Or you can just bring out 1 over 10. Huh? So take note, a over b is just the same with 1 over v times a. Huh? 1 over b times a. Okay. So makikita natin dito that we have an integral involving trig of functions. The process is the same. So the procedure is the same kasi we have only two techniques. Yung formula natin na ginamit ay power formula. So the procedure is the same, the process is the same because we have only two techniques, U technique and transforming integrand. At yung formula na ginamit natin dito ay power rule. So let us look at the second one. So ito. We have secant square. Now if we let u be secant of x, it does not reduce, no? The integral does not reduce to simply some constant u square du. So the integral is not equal to integral of some constant u square du. So we cannot reduce simply to u square. No? Hindi natin maka-cancel ito. No? So let's try a different formula. No? The other possible formula for this would be du over u. Baka naman du over u. So if you're trying to fit, so baka this reduces to some constant du over u. So if you're trying to fit this formula, we let u be the denominator. No? So we let u be 1 plus 4 tangent of x. Ang du natin, this would be 4 times, derivative of 1 is 0. Derivative of the second term is 4, and then secant square of x dx. Notice that part of the integrand can be seen in du. So let us solve for the value of this. So palitan natin, hanap tayo ng pamalit dito. So from here, so let us treat this as a single quantity. So let us solve for the value of this. So we divide both sides by 4. No? We divide both sides by 4. So we will have du over 4. This is secant square of x and then dx. Okay. So this is 1/4 du. So the integral becomes, so this is 1/4 du. And then yung denominator natin is u. So it reduces to this formula. No? So yung it is necessary, a quotient is necessary, but not a guarantee that it is d over u. So the answer, it would be 1/4, and then ln, absolute value of u, and then plus c, or this is 1/4, and then ln, absolute value of 1 plus 4 tangent of x plus. So again, we have a trigonometric integral. So the same procedure to evaluate it, and the formula here is d over u. So yung mga formulas natin noon, pwede pa rin, na posible pa rin. Okay? Now, let us look at the next one. We have an exponential function. No? So we have a. So ito ay a raised to f at x. So ano yung sabi ko? Pag yung exponent is again an expression, we let u be cosine square of x. We let u be the exponent. Ano yung du natin? So power rule for differentiation. So ibaba natin yung exponent, and then cosine of x raised to 1, and then the derivative of the base, that would be negative sine x, and then siyempre dx. Let us rewrite this one. We have negative 2. So we rearrange the factors. This is sine of x, cosine of x, dx. Notice that if you recall, recall yung double angle identity for sine. So sine 2a, this is twice sine a, cosine of a. Diba? So ito ngayon, 2 sine x, cosine of x, this is sine twice the angle. No? So the product of sine and cosine times 2 is sine of twice the angle. Okay? So notice that the remaining part of the integrand, ito yun. This is the remaining part. So let us solve for the value for the value of this. Yeah. Diba? Yung du natin ay negative. So yung buo na ito ay sine 2x dx. Okay? So let us solve for the value of this kasi this is part of the integrand. So hanapin natin yung pamalit natin dito. So let us multiply both sides by -1. So multiply this by -1. So we now have negative du. This is equal to sine 2x dx. So ito ngayon, it is simply negative du. So the integral becomes 10 raised to u. No? So 10 raised to u, and then this is negative du. So it reduces to an exponential function. So we copy the negative sign. Ano ang integral ng exponential function? Sarili niya. It is 10 to the u over ln of 10. Wag kayo maglagay ng absolute value dyan. Walang absolute value dyan. Because a is always positive. And then plus c. Or this is negative 10 raised to u. That is cosine square of x. And then over ln of 10 plus c. So let us look at number 4. Wala tayong makikitang power ng function. Walang radical. We don't have a quotient. Doon sa given. Ang nakakalimutan ng mga estudyante, wala rin tayong exponential function. Now, ang nakakalimutan ng mga estudyante ay yung integral of some constant times u du. Okay? At saka yung yung d over u. So, nakakalimutan yung power rule if the exponent is 1. So, baka naman, ito, kasi kung titignan nyo, pag dinifferentiate natin ito, ibababa natin yung cosine, and then the derivative of cosine is negative sine, and sine over cosine is tangent. Okay? So, parang pag dinifferentiate natin ito, it gives us the remaining part of the integrand. So, parang ito, together with dy, yun yung du natin. So, we let u, so here, we're trying to fit this formula, yung power rule. So, we let u be ln of cosine of y. So, take note, it is a composition of functions. So, ang du natin, so ano yung derivative ng ln? Ibababa natin ito. So, over cosine of y. And then, derivative nung binaba natin. So, this would be negative sine y and then dy. But this can be written as negative tangent of y and then dy. So, in the value of du, we have tangent of y times dy. Yeah. So we solve for the value of this. So you multiply this by negative 1. So we have negative du. This is tangent of y dy. So this is simply negative du. So the integral reduces to, so yeah, i-plug in natin si u. And then yung pamalit nung parte na ito, it is negative du. So the answer, it would be negative u squared over 2 plus c. Or this is negative 1/2. And then, ano yung u natin? It is ln cosine of y. Quantity is square. So you can simply insert the exponent here. And then plus c. So take note of the following. Yung power of trigo, inverse trigo, and logarithmic function. So yung ln square, no? ln in general, no? In general, ln upper k of x. Pag naka-insert yung exponent, this is ln of x quantity raised to k. Now, when the angle is a function, apply u technique, let u be the angle. Huh? So when the angle is a function, we let u be the angle. So take note of this. Na? So kagaya nito, the angle of cotangent is ln of x. So let natin u. Let natin u yung ln of x. So at least cotangent of u lang yan. So ang du natin, this would be 1 over x dx. Or this is dx over x. Di ba? So again, notice that this is part of the integrand. And this is simply du. Di ba? This is simply du. So this reduces to integral du. And then over. So dx over x, that's du. And then i-plug in natin si u. So this is cotangent of u. So it reduces to a simple one. But this is not the formula. So we're applying trigonometric identity. Ang 1 over cotangent is tangent. Di ba? So this is the same with the integral tangent of u du. So when working with trigonometric functions, you need to, again, review or memorize the basic identities. Na? Yung mga basic identities lang. So ano yung integral ng tangent? Ano yung formula natin? This is, sana yung formula natin? Okay, this one. Ito. Anong integral ng tangent? We have two choices. ln secant or negative ln cosine. Okay, so it is a formula. No? So it is, mamili na lamang kayo dito. No? So it is, ako, mas nasanay akong gamitin ito. No? So negative ln cosine. So it is negative ln cosine. So this is negative ln, absolute value of cosine. U yung variable natin. So cosine u and then plus c. Okay? Sine over cosine. Derivative cosine is negative sine. So negative ln cosine. Or this is negative ln, absolute value, cosine of u of ln of x. Absolute value and then plus c. So just to emphasize the idea, so ito, The angle of cosecant is e to the x. So, i-let nating u ito. So, let this be u. So, ang u natin ay e to the x. Ang du natin, this would be e to the x dx. So, makikita natin that e to the x times dx is du. No? It is du. So, this is just du. So, this reduces to integral cosecant of u and then du. Okay? So, again, we have an integral of cosecant. So, ano ito? Anong integral ng cosecant? This one, huh? ln cosecant minus cotangent. ln cosecant minus cotangent. So the answer here, it is ln absolute value cosecant of u minus cotangent of u and then plus c. So be careful with the variable. The variable here is u. So dapat yung sagot natin is also u. The final answer, this is ln absolute value cosecant of e to the x minus cotangent of e to the x absolute value and then plus c. Okay. This is a classic example of trig function composition with another trig function. So, tignan nyo. Sine of t. This is the angle for the sine. Sine of cosine of t. This is the angle for the sine. So, we let u be this one. Yan. So, sine u na lamang yan. So, we let u be cosine of t. Ano yung du natin? This is negative sine of t dt. Okay? So, notice that the remaining part of the integrand, yan, okay, can be solved mula dito. So, sine t dt can be seen as a value ng du. So, let us solve for the value of this. So, we multiply this by negative 1. So, this becomes negative du. This is sine of t and then dt. So, we now have the integral negative. So, sine t dt, that's negative du. And then sine u. No? Sine u. So, this is equal to negative. You copy the numerical factor. Anong integral ng sine? Derivative ng sine, derivative ng cosine, sorry. Derivative ng cosine is negative sine. Yan. So, the integral of negative sine, it would be cosine. So, positive na yan. So, the integral of negative sine is cosine of u and then plus c. Where this is cosine, ano yung u natin? Of cosine of t plus c. So, this is a composition of functions. Huh? So, take note, ha? Cosine of cosine of t is not equal to cosine square of t. So, it is not equal to. So, cosine of t is not equal to cosine square. So, ito, composition of functions. So, ito ay composition of functions. This one is composition of functions. So, I think the remaining are your practice exercises. So, you can try to solve the following. So, there are 7 of them here. Okay.